earth was that? I am sure I don't know, and I'm not gonna ask. We should probably ask, all right, listen, do you want to be happy or know things? You can't do both. Let's go! It starts with an A and ends with anxiety. Off the charts levels of passion! That's just a nightmare! With you wherever you are, welcome to LFR. Oh yeah, buddy, dial it up! Victory puppies! A Leaf win means $20 for the Humane Society of Durham Region. Get it in ya! Leafs win! Somehow. 4-3 over the Pittsburgh Penguins. Oh man, like maybe they could just force overtime. The Penguins getting no points out of that game is insane. I want to talk about that game, and I think we usually do questions at the end. This one needs to be answered right at the beginning. From Frosty Loop's blog, why is the mood so bad when they have won 4 of the last 5 and are 3rd in the Atlantic? Okay, thank you. Great question. Let's talk about that. So this team, I don't know if you know this team, but let me just tell you about the Toronto Blue Jays. So they've been in the postseason for the past month. We're not going to talk about how it ended, but it was very time-consuming and attention-consuming, and everyone was all consumed by the Toronto Blue Jays and their amazing magical playoff run. That, oh my gosh, every Leaf game seemed to be on a Blue Jays playoff night. Almost all for a little while. Views for LFR videos have been spiking, and I don't think it's because the Leafs have been mediocre. I think it's because people are legitimately not watching the games, and they're like, well, this guy did, so what does he have to say? But even I missed 2 of them. Saturday night's Leafs game was during Game 7 of the World Series. No one watched that thing. The people in attendance didn't even watch it, which is weird because they're all from Philadelphia. So why is the mood so bad? You saw it. You saw it in the first 2 periods of this game. Oh, I had LFR all written in my head. I had to crumple, and yeet that thing. The whole thing, it was done! It was completed! It was hellfire and brimstone. I asked people in a message online, hey, anyone who's at this game, what did you pay to be there? I was going to talk about the price of admission. How dare you raise your ticket prices in the off-season, knowing what you have put this fan base through. What do you think? I was going to go all philosophical. What on earth do you think the average Toronto Maple Leafs fan wants? Because one of the pieces of feedback I've gotten about the Leafs that I've hated, because I don't think it makes any sense, is this is the Leafs team that Leaf fans have asked for. No, it extraordinarily isn't! Someone who's a very smart hockey mind, has worked in the NHL, texted me during this game, safe as death. And I agree with them. But safe would have been bringing Marner back and the whole team back to do the same dog and pony show again. Have a good regular season again and blow it in the playoffs again. Safe would have been running it back. This might also kill you. This might also be death, but it might also be something else. But in terms of what Toronto fans want, this team has not been intense. They haven't fought. They haven't hit. They haven't played viciously or heavy. They haven't stuck up for each other. They haven't played like they have blood in their veins. And that is exactly how they played in the first and second period. I would never, unless it was my job, which it is, watch that brand of hockey night in and night out. Are you joking? The first and second getting outshot to oblivion, outchanced to oblivion, punked and bullied in your own building by the Penguins, who, yes, have been very good. They've had a very good start to this season. But holy moly, you won your division last year. And they legitimately look good on Saturday. And I'm like, can you put together back-to-back performances once ever? And this whole fan base finally tunes in. This might have been the most dialed in Leafs Nation as a whole has been on one single Leafs game so far this season, and it's that. It's that for 40, 45 minutes. Stoller's getting shelled, and a few somewhat half-decent individual performances and nothing else. This is the first Penguins goal. Here they are getting beat on the rush. How the hell did this happen? Yuck and gross. Carlson scores. This one goes 90 feet in the air, crash lands, you lose the battle in front, it's a goal. Add to that a power play goal. You let a guy named Ben Kindle come into your building and score 2 goals on you. Ben Kindle, who, by the way, you probably should know the name of, he was just picked 11th overall, but despite being the 11th overall pick, he made the Penguins out of camp as an 18-year-old. He doesn't have any assists yet, but he does have 5 goals. I'm sure the Calgary Hitmen of the WHL are like, yeah, Ben will be back any day now, and then he makes the Penguins out of camp and is good. And it's great that he's a nice story and everything, but I am tired of finding out people exist because they killed my team. Kristanov left last game on a stretcher. That hurts their defense. He should be back whatever. All that matters is if he gets healthy again soon. But this team defensively is already not strong to begin with to start the season, and then they lose Tanev. And when Tanev was out the first time, they didn't look very good in their own end. They have struggled to stop the rush all season. And some guys, you know who, have been getting hemmed in all the time. When the Leafs have a bad game, their bad game has a brand, and you know they're not coming back from it. That's how it's been. And wow, were we wrong. I'm just talking about me. I'm the one who said that, but you thought it. I'm going to pretend you thought it. We're all wrong now. It starts with this. Jake McCabe, who has low-key kind of been a really good leader on this team so far. On a team that desperately needs to be shaken awake on a lot of nights, McCabe has done the shaking. He just sends a dart up the ice to Austin Matthews to spring him on a partial breakaway, and I didn't realize when I first watched it, but one of the Penguins bumps into the ref, and that's why they couldn't get back. I still think Matthews would have been in alone, but we'll never know, and he just rips that thing 5-hole past Tristan Jarry. The Leafs are on the board. Oh. All right. Well, now I'm like, okay, what are the positives? Because they're getting their butts kicked. They're still going to lose, but like, Matthews goals in back-to-back games. They've looked like vintage Matthews goals. Okay. Then the Penguins go into absolute fire drill mode as the Leafs load up right in front of their net. Here's a bunch of dudes aimlessly standing around, and I tell you what, this is a skilled player doing a skilled player thing. After Matthews rips it, William Nylander backhands it off the bar and in. Oh my goodness, it's a hockey game! Imagine paying money to go to one of those! And then the third goal, oh, I could have cried. This is the new standard. This is how you go into every shift this season! Because it's Austin Matthews working like a dog to get that puck. Gets it to OEL, who has, if you haven't been watching, been unreal this season, really turned back the clock, especially offensively. And Willie puts his whole Nylander into this thing. But it's tied! And we should be happy that it's tied, and only that it's tied, and if we're lucky, it'll get to overtime. They're happy, they're fat and happy, it's all done. Here come the Penguins again, they're about to score, and it's a huge back check from Benoit, and it's a huge save from Stollers. And once the Leafs get to return fire, it's Nick Robertson in the middle of maybe the best hockey game I've ever seen him play. If you haven't been watching, Nick Robertson has recently been playing not just in the top 6, but on the top line. And folks, he belongs. The problem with Nick Robertson for years has been he can't really be a depth player, but how do you just give him a top 6 role? Dude, you gotta earn that. And so he's been in this terrible vortex, this perennial puck purgatory. Well, he wins a puck battle, beats his D-man, and drives the net. Gets a chance out of it, doesn't score, but there's a rebound. And you can't leave Bobby McMahon alone like that. Well, except for the 9-game goal streak that he was on, but maybe it's because he wasn't doing this stuff. And the Leafs take the 4-3 lead. Tell you what, Bobby McMahon getting the game-winning goal in this one has to make Craig Berube feel good. Has to make him feel real good, because this morning at morning skate, they did the line rushes, and Bobby McMahon was not in them. And Berube said he's not necessarily a healthy scratch, but I took that to mean He's going to be a healthy scratch. I was so focused on how bad the Leafs were playing, I didn't even realize that the player who was scratched was Matias Maccelli, who hasn't necessarily been bad, but he's struggled to find his place in the lineup at times. He put together a few really solid games there, though. He's taken out. Blais stays in the lineup, Yarncroke stays in the lineup, and so does Bobby! And in the middle of all that, there's a penalty kill, and the most dogged player on the entire ice surface is the captain, Austin Matthews. That was his best period of the season. That was the team's best period of the season. It might have been the best period I've ever seen Nick Robertson play. And I am very intentionally using the word period because the Leafs played one. I'm not even going to say good period. The Leafs arrived at the arena at the beginning of the third. And it was their single most dominant period of hockey this season, bar none, like by a wide margin. Heading into the third period, the Penguins were out shooting the Leafs 25-8 in Toronto. And it's not even like the Leafs obliterated them in the third either. The shots were 12-12. Stolarz was sharp. That's back-to-back games where he's been sharp as well. And I tell you what, if you think I'm overplaying how bad the first two periods were, the Leafs came back and won. They closed it out 4-3, no need for overtime or nothing, and Craig Berube was still mad. Thank you to Jesse Blake for getting this quote now that he can actually leave the house again. Craig Berube, what upsets me is we come out in the second period down 2-0 and we think we're going to make a push, and we didn't. That was so much more disheartening than the first period where they went down 2-0. It was the second where they looked awful, even though you're the one getting your butts kicked on home ice. I don't understand why we never got it right away in the second. That's the frustrating part, and that's all mental. Oh, to be a fly on the wall for that second intermission speech from Berube.
Here comes Craig Berube for his 48th fight of the season on this fine November evening. And oh my goodness, one punch and he's down. His teammates come in to defend him, and it looks like, oh yes, once again, he has torn off his opponent's arm and proceeded to beat him with
Don't you keep playing!
All the other players are heading for the dressing room, and yet, yes, it appears Craig Berube is chasing after them with the severed limb.
He's had enough. Like, you watch enough of the little videos that the Leafs post on their social media after they win, it's usually Berube going, all right, that was cool, we got 2 points, love that. Still some things we need to clean up, but, that's we got 2 points. He's had the energy of, you ever see the movie Whiplash? These first few weeks of the seasons, he's just like, not quite my tempo. It's okay. Start again. And here they are. Okay, they're getting outshot in their own barn. Not quite my tempo. You're rushing. And then my guess is the second intermission is when he whipped a cymbal across the room, and then asked the Leafs why they think he whipped a cymbal across the room. But it had a little bit of everything. Yeah, they got some saves. Yeah, there were some defensive moments that made you go, ugh, but they worked. They won battles. They hunted. Their best players were their best players, and their best player, their leader, was their leader and their best player. Listen, we should all wake up tomorrow morning happier for this win. But at the end of the day, that period is why you lose your mind with this team. That's what they're capable of. That is what they're capable of. Not 20 minutes a game. The whole thing! That period has got to be the new standard. That period has got to be what they rally around for the rest of the season, because that is what they're capable of. You came back from 3-0 down. That is a lovely thing, and it's awesome, and it's great. New mission, don't go down 3-0, especially at home. Or Craig Berube, possibly literally, will kill you. Questions. Should Robertson be permanently top 6 until his game says otherwise? He's been amazing. Okay, so the Leafs have some decisions to make here because they have 3 extra forwards right now. Scott Laughton is going to come back. Steven Lorentz is a healthy scratch right now. And Matias Maccelli, who they're paying several $1 million, wasn't in the lineup tonight. He was a healthy scratch. There are a number of guys who could find themselves on the outside looking in. Yarncroke comes out of the lineup. That would make some sense if Lawton returns. There's a key penalty killer for you. That's kind of Yarncroke's thing right now. He would come out. Michelli is obviously an option to come out. It looked like Bobby McMahon was about to become an option to come out. He scored. It was the game winner. That's great, but don't think that his spot is so safe. Easton Cowan got his first goal. That was lovely. He's still a rookie. Max Domi's spot at this point shouldn't be all that safe. But Robertson has played better than every guy I just listed. Listen, we've talked about trading Robertson for a long time. I'm positive that the exact time not to trade him is when he finally becomes the player that you were begging him to be. Listen, I want to know what you thought about that game. I want to know what you thought about the first and second period versus the third, and I want you to tell me who you think the Leafs really are. Because I think they can rally behind this, and this could be the beginning of something beautiful. Please, please don't let me down Wednesday, because the Leafs have not played their best hockey, like at all. And now they're third in the Atlantic Division despite all that. You get Lawton back, you get Tanev back, the big guys are humming, you're getting some great performances from guys you've been begging for them from. You get Wool back. Come on, boys. Come on! That third period was only one period, but it was a hell of a tease. For now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. The Leafs played a really good 20 minutes, and I am choosing to believe that's what they are forever now.